Hey guys, it's me, the X whatever here today. Today we're doing Love Deku was a Vigilante, Part 2. I'm trying to think where I ended off. I probably ended off where Ink Deku came back to his house, right? Oh yeah, he basically uploaded Ash to the whole world, so yeah. But anyway, I'll get onto it. So, as Deku's talking to Ash and he's saying, "Hey Ash, you there?" Ash says, "Yes, sir." Or Master, what do you need me for? So, you're talking about the old military base, right? Yes, I was. What do you wish to know about it? I'm wondering if we could make any more suits or drones. Ash begins to say, well, we can make more drones, but it'll take time. We currently have these four options. However, we only have the camel one, so that is good. However, the three that you're seeing right now, sir, are the drones you want to build first, sir. Which one shall you build? The Marine one, the Navy one, sir, or the Army? As Deku takes a good hard look at the blue one, he says, how about the Marine one? The Marine one, sir. Great choice, sir. The firepower for it is pretty good. However, it cannot fly very fast, sir. Sir, Master, or Master Izuku. Do you wish for me to build this for you? As Deku says, yes. Yes, build it for me, Ash. Ash comes back and says, very well, sir. And Deku begins saying, like, okay, so after that, been doing that. And Ingo begins knocking on Izuku's door. Ingo's like, sweetie, are you done eating? As Deku's like, yeah, mom. Let me come out. Yeah, mom, give me a minute. And Ingo's like, okay. And Deku's like, so, Ash, Ash, can you make some like diagnostic or look up some records about any criminal activity nearby? As Ash says, yes, sir. As Ash is doing all that, Deku gets up from his seat and begins grabbing his plate and his glass putting onto his plate as he begins picking them up and leaving the door open and closing it behind him. As then Deku begins walking towards Inko, cleaning the dishes, and Inko's like, "Sweetie, you have like a different mood now." As Deku's like, "Yeah, I know, Mom." As Deku got done cleaning the dishes, Deku begins going up. Deku begins making some changes to. Deku begins asking Ash if Deku could actually see the schematics in his head. As Ash says, very well, sir. I've set them to your brain. You're not, and you should be able to see the holograms now. As Deku sees the holograms before him, he starts making a suit for himself, but he still has to work out the kinks for it. But for now, he's just figuring out he's just gonna have like this suit because I want Deku just to have this suit. Because, guys, because I'd like Deku having that suit, but As Deku just got done doing the calculations for the suit, he begins setting the data to Ash, who says, very well, sir. As Ash begins looking over the data, he looks at it again, over and over, and it's more. And the blueprint that he gave Deku gave Ash was actually like a chip that would improve the motor systems or the flexibilities of the suit. However, the suits will still be like the same, but they'll be getting more advanced. It may not look it, but Deku managed to make a suit that is able to like hover, well, or can already hover. As Ash says, after 5 hours, After 5 hours, Deku. After 5 hours, Ash. After shoot. Okay. Am I even recording? Okay, I am. That's what I make sure. After Deku manages to get some stuff, get some, he's jotting out some like ideas for a suit that he would actually have instead of wearing with drones. But Ash says, I've looked up some of the records, and there have been murders around this area, sir. And also a gang called I can't describe the name, sir. As Deku's like, I can't remember that gang, guys. I can't remember that gang that would be Japan. Shoot. Fuck it, I was gonna call him like the. Let me just think about it. Red Blood, yeah, the gang called Red Blood. Basically, they take people off. They take people off the streets and then sell them as product to buyers. And that's when Deku says, "So, do we have any information about them?" Ash says, "Well, sir, for what I've collected or read, it seems that there really are like off the grid, sir. But I did manage to find a few leads." As Deku's like, what leads do we have?" "Well, they come to this side of the street, sir, and then they would begin doing this." As Deku's like, "Okay then, so I guess I'm not gonna be here then, but I guess I'll be a vigilante." As Ash says, "Yes, sir, but what would your vigilante name be?" As Deku's thinking about this really hard and just says, "Well, it can't be Deku because it'd be too obvious." And then Deku thoughts up to the name. Iron Man. Nah, fuck it, guys. He's not gonna be Iron Man, but whatever. At least come up with another name. Blisk. His vigilante name is Blisk. If you guys don't like it, then just tell me what would be a better name then. As Ash says, "Very well, sir." I'm getting sick of like swapping between them, so I'm just gonna like stick to this one. So as Deku begins asking Ash to get the suit ready, as he like opens his window and hops down as he sneaks out of his house. As then the camel drone begins. Let me just see this shit. Let me see. The tactical assault drone, the tactical suit now begins opening up to Izuku, and then Deku begins getting into it, suiting up, and all the systems are online. As Deku begins flying onto one of the rooftops in the night, he waits for about 15 minutes until he sees red one of the red bloods one of the Red Blood gang members grab a person off the street. As Deku begins following them, trying not to make too much of a sound, because the tactical suit is built for stealth. So yeah, as Deku begins going up, following them, as Deku lost him for a minute, but he uses his radar and he finds two markers moving in the straight direction. And that's when Deku begins flying up into the sky and following it, but at a really high altitude so no one could see his suit. As then the trucks stop at an old warehouse. A very old warehouse that was broken down. As then Deku begins asking Ash, what is the building for? as Ash as well. Well, it was abandoned in 1963, sir. Also, it appears that there used to be a fish stocking here, but now that it's abandoned, it's the most popular place for gang members to meet up. What should I do for this one? I'm gonna say Juno got kidnapped. No. Let's just see. I'm like thinking really hard, giving meta guys. I'm gonna say Aizarozu because she's rich, and if the Red Bloods get her, they make really good cash. Her dad pays for the. Her dad pays for the. Yeah, her dad pays for the ransom. Basically, yeah. But when they have the ransom, they just keep her still. So yeah. After the Red Bloods are there for the meeting, and have her tied up downstairs in the warehouse underneath the warehouse floor, underneath the basement floor. The gang members being talking about how much the bounty, how much the pay should be for her to for her father to pay the mortgage or the money. I can't remember. Or the ransom. As they begin talking, Deku Deku begins like scanning the area, begins scanning the whole like room, like 3D printing, and just sees like the guy's vocal cords and everything. However, Deku did not want to cause too much of a commotion because he scanned the guys that were because Deku asked Ash to scan the guys, and the guys had hardening quirks, enhancement quirks, and some fire quirks. Deku could handle some fire, but not he can handle some hardening quirks, but enhancements probably rip his suit to shreds. But good thing Ash designed it for being able to withstand like a large amount of like pressure, or is not as pretty good for durability, but could still be ripped to shreds if the guy's like holding on to Deku long enough. As Dek as Ash as Deku like looked into the old blueprints, and he found a sewer drain. However, it was all clogged up. Deku's suit could be, since it is tactical, it could be underwater for a few minutes. But however, the sea assault could handle way more. He probably could reach all the way to the bottom. So yeah, but since Deku, let's just say since Deku was able to, since Deku's suit could actually be underwater for at least 15 minutes, he begins like prying off all like the blockage to the old sewer pipe, and he manages to get into the warehouse, but he did find a closed off room that was basically completely boarded up. So he basically quietly pried the door. He quietly pried the door open, just long enough for him to break it down like quietly, and then he put it. You know what? I'm gonna say this. Basically, he pushed the door, but slowly let his fingers go forward a bit and grab it before it could fall over, and he put it to the side. As Momo Aizarozu's like just crying, cause she's on the phone for Dad, and now they have her phone, asking for the ransom, or we'll call him for the ransom. However, one of the guys was on guard, and this guy had an enhancement quirk or hardening quirk. Yeah, because the guy was asleep though. He was just like on guard duty, just sleeping. Mobilized Rosie was crying. Something was tapping on the door, just saying, "Hey," just in the robotic voice. It says, "Hey." As Momo turns around, just sees this giant robot, and she was about to scream, but the robot just doesn't have any lips, but he did like the shush like motion to make her quiet, and she begins like nodding her head, as Deku begins to say, "Listen, I can get you out of here, but it looks like I'm gonna make quite a noise. So listen, I can probably fly us out of here, but you have to stay behind me at all costs. You have to stay behind me, okay?" As as she was like, "Okay," as Deku rips the door open, as the guard wakes up, and Deku throws the door at the guard sitting in the chair, and basically just breaks his back, and he's completely paralyzed. Well, his legs are paralyzed as the guard begins calling for the guys or his gang members. As then Deku begins saying "Okay, listen." As Deku begins saying to Momo, Aizarozu just says, "Okay, I'm gonna try to listen. I'm gonna cause quite a distraction or cause quite much damage. I'm gonna cause much. I'm gonna try to. Sorry, guys. I'm fucking really trying to get this done. So okay. As Deku just saw one of the gang members, he begins unloading, loading some bullets into the guy, but the guy had a hardening quirk, and the guy was covering his other gang members. As Deku's like, "Shit. Looks like the guy's using himself as a shield for his friends." As Deku's making walking backwards, backing up, making sure Momo's making sure she's not in the crossfire. As Deku says to Ash, "Ash, is there any weak points in the building that I can get out of?" Ash says, "Yes, behind the wall, but you'll be under some sea. But however, you may collapse." As Deku's like, "Okay." As Deku tells Aizarozu to say, "Listen, when I say duck, you do it, okay?" As she's like, "Okay." As the guy's like, "What's this guy doing?" As Deku begins stop firing, and the A members are wondering what he's doing. He punches the roof above him, and the whole thing begins as the whole half the building begins falling down because that one weak point was actually getting all the building to be holding up. So Deku was covering Momo as Rozu, as the building was almost collapsed on the members that were in the basement. As Deku says to Momo, says, "Hey, you alright?" As she begins coughing, just saying yes. As she begins "Yeah, I'm fine." "What was that anyway? How'd you do that as well?" As Deku's "Weak point in the building, but we don't have time." As Deku looks at the debris right behind her, just says, "Listen, I'm gonna fire a rocket, but make sure you're not in the crossfire. But get underneath me." As she does, as Momo says, "Okay." As Deku fires a rocket, making a hole in the building. As Deku says, "Okay, grab on." As Momo begins hopping onto his back, and he begins flying, and he begins to slowly stop as soon as he reaches as soon as he's hovering over the the hmm fuck the board fuck I'm trying to remember something. Fuck the seaport where the under floating above the water. As he begins saying, "So, where should I set you down?" As she says, "Well, can I just can you just carry me, please?" Animal says, "Can you carry me, please? Cause I'm losing my core." And Deku's "Oh." As Deku begins grabbing her as Deku begins grabbing her hands, grab one of her hands and begins carrying her like a princess. As he begins like flying towards this, begins flying to the city. As plus they're flying towards the city, but then Deku and Momo begin talking, but Momo doesn't know who this guy is, so she begins talking like so. She was saying like, so are you a hero? Deku's like, no, I'm just a vigilante. And she says, with this much tech, as Deku's like, yep, I'm just a vigilante. And she just says, there's no way you're a vigilante. Momo was saying, as she begins asking like a lot of questions of where he got this, or is he even in the suit, or is he just some type of drone that his father hired? As Deku says no to those questions as well. Hmm. As as Deku drops her down near Okay, as Deku drops her down near her house, which Momo told where Momo lived, and Deku says, "If you need anything, just call my name." And she says, "Wait, what's your name?" Deku turns to her, just gives her, and he says his name. Fuck, I forgot his vigilante name. Tila. Hmm. Give me a minute, guys. I'm trying to think of the name. Hmm. Fuck. I'm trying to think of the name again. Fuck, I'll get to it. But he tells her his vigilante name. No, fuck it. I'm gonna say he's her name for that. I'm just gonna say randomly just his vigilante name is Dark Flame. Cause fuck it. As he begins to fly up into the sky, and as Momo's family begins hugging her, just saying, "Sweetie, how did you escape? How did you escape from the gang members?" As she says, "Well, some vigilante saved me." As Momo's is as the guy as Rose's dad's like, "Wait, what was his name? What's his name then?" She said, "Well, it's Dark Flame." And she's like, "That's probably like the worst name ever." As she says, "Yeah, I know, Dad." But when Deku gets back to his apartment, it's up in flames, and he's like wondering what happened. He begins like going to the building. He breaks down the door, and he sees his mother. He begins trying to on her floor, and he begins like trying to wake her up. He begins like trying to like wake her up, but when he turned her around, there was a bullet shot through her head. As Deku's like sad, Deku's like heartbroken because the only one that cared for him was his mother. His mother was the one that kept him going, and was the only person that was nice to him and was supportive. Now that Deku's alone, Deku just decided Deku just said goodbye to his mom, and he leaves the building that was like, and the building collapsed as when he left as well. And the next morning, Bakugo believes Deku's dead. The whole world thinks he's dead. However, he's not. As Deku said after, because last night Deku asked Ash if the military base that he made the drones was still radiated, and Ash says, "Well, it's not anymore." As Deku's like, "I'm guessing you built some type of machine to absorb the radiation." As Ash says, "Yes, I built it. Yes, during the time there, I made the tactical drones built a machine that was absorbing the radiation. So we are actually pretty much able to do anything. So as Deku's like, huh, okay then. As Deku also asked Ash at on that night if there was any security cameras. There was one, however, the thing got knocked out, but Ash paused the footage and zoomed into the guy when he was throwing the rock and he saw the tattoo. It was a red skull or red blood, and he was angry. He's gonna kill the whole gang, so yeah. He's gonna kill the whole gang. And I'm also sorry if this guy's is not what if it's not really interesting. I am terribly sorry, so can you just please forgive me. But I think I'm gonna end my video here for today. I am truly sorry, but if you really like my video, please hit that please hit the like button and hit the subscribe button if you're subscribed or not. It really helps this channel to grow, and it helps me a lot that you guys are enjoying my video. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you all in my next video.